investigator with vast experience in the investigation and prosecution of advance fee fraud cases, official corruption, bank fraud, money laundering, and other economic crimes. Bawa is 40 years old and he holds a Bachelor of Science degree in economics and Masters in International Affairs and Diplomacy. The acting EFCC chairman, Ibrahim Magu, was suspended in July 2020 amidst allegations of gross misconduct. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has advised the public to beware of a fake recruitment exercise. The NCC Public Affairs Director, Dr. Ikechukwu Adinde, debunked the news, clarifying that it is not recruiting either directly or through any proxy for any position. The director said the commission has standard recruitment processes and procedures which it strictly abides by. He also added that the public should always visit the website and social media handles when seeking reliable information about the commission. He wants the general public to be wary and vigilant to avoid falling victims to the ploys of fraudsters and scammers who are circulating the false recruitment notices. The Nigeria Police Force has flagged off the second phase of one of its special tactical operations codenamed Operation Puff Adder 2. Addressing journalists during the flag-off ceremony in Abuja, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, explained that the development is expected to tackle crimes including armed robbery, banditry, kidnapping, among others, within the northwest and north-central zones of the country, but will subsequently cover the entire nation. He, however, tasked the officers being deployed to see their posting as a call to service and express the highest level of professionalism while on duty.
Our objective is to focus on the restoration of security and peace in the northwest and north-central geopolitical zones. The operation is to dislodge the bandits and deny them space to regroup either in the zones or any other part of the country. It also involves bringing to justice any arrested bandits and their collaborators. Operation Puff Adder 2 will be implemented within the framework of our community policing initiative, and it will be intelligence-led operations. I charge you all to see your deployment as a call to national duty.
Few days after the Occupy Lekki protests, reactions have continued to trail among experts and some residents over the turnout of the protest. Our correspondent Jacinta Obiuku visits the plaza to see the situation of things and now reports.
How the Occupy Lekki toll gate protest on Saturday transpired has got many frowning at how the Nigerian police treated the protesters. This also got the guests on our breakfast show talking.
Of course, it was saddening to see even the level of preparation that the police made towards this protest. We saw all sorts of armed men, fully kitted. These are the kind of men you don't see chasing Boko Haram. These are the kind of men you don't see chasing bandits, but they came prepared to cut away, to arrest and torture peaceful protesters. Everything that happened on that Saturday at the toll gate, from the law enforcement angle of things, it was very terribly wrong.
And the panel took a decision, and the people are saying, no, this decision should not be so, because we are yet to see justice melted out over the issues that, happened on this toll gate. So we cannot, let's go back there peacefully and assemble to say, no, we kick against this decision. And the best thing you could do was to deploy force. You can't beat a child and expect that child not to cry.
Here is also some mixed reactions among residents.
We have COVID on the ground, and part of the protocol is that people should not gather. We have other means, other ways that we can talk to the government.
There's still a case going on. Those people lost their lives
they've not done anything. They've not done anything yet, and you want to reopen the toll gate. It's not sensible for a government to do such a thing.
If the government had rectified the problem or try to give justice to those that have lost their life in the past protests, do you think the people will come back again to protest? The answer is no.
People have right to protest, but we have been protesting against many things. But at the end, nothing changes. For me, I don't think protest is the best solution to Nigerian problem. The best solution lies at the National Assembly.
This is the area view of the plaza after the protest. On the quest if the Lekki Concession Company has resumed yet after the ruling and the protest, we could see some men within the plaza with their tools, which could suggest the company has started repairs.
It's 2 days after the Occupy Lekki Tollgate protest. The situation of things seems to have returned to the way it was after the NSAS protest, but we could still see some Nigerian police around. From Lekki Tollgate, Jacinta Obiuku reporting for Plus TV Africa.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Dingyadi, on Tuesday said minimum force was used on Occupy Lekki protesters last Saturday. Speaking to newsmen, he said the policemen deployed in the toll gates were well kitted and maintained professionalism in restraining the protesters. Dingyadi said policemen at the Lekki toll gates comported themselves as they should. He noted that they were fully equipped, well uniformed, and were ready for the NSAS protest, and that was why they were able to contain the situation. Many civil rights organizations, including Amnesty International and the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, however, have condemned the inhumane act levied against the protesters. They were later arraigned before a mobile court and released on bail. 3 months after the Trump administration rejected her, former Nigerian Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has received the unanimous backing of the Security Council on Monday to become the first woman and first African Director General of the World Trade Organization. With a track record of taking on seemingly intractable problems, Okonjo-Iweala will have a work cut out for her at the trade body, even with Donald Trump, who had threatened to pull the United States out of the organization, no longer in the White House. As Director General, a position that wields limited formal power, Okonjo-Iweala will need to broker international trade talks in the face of persistent U.S.-China conflict, respond to pressure to reform trade rules, and counter protectionism heightened by the COVID-19 pandemic. In her acceptance speech at the WTO, she said that getting a trade deal is the next major ministerial meeting, will be a top priority, and also urged members to reject vaccine nationalism, according to a delegate attending the closed meeting, which held virtually.
General Council Chair, supported by the facilitators, thereby recommend formally that the General Council agree to appoint Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala of Nigeria as the next Director General of the WTO, starting on 1st of March 2021 until 31st August 2025.
Challenges facing the WTO are numerous and tricky, but they are not insurmountable. There is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel if we work together in a transparent manner that builds trust, builds bridges, diffuses political tensions, and encourages convergence. The pandemic and its economic fallout have highlighted the interdependence of countries, the importance of multilateralism, and the need to strengthen collaboration to achieve fair and balanced trade agreements that provide opportunities for all WTO members, particularly for the least developed countries and small island states. By working together, we can build that trust, and we can achieve a stronger, more relevant, and inclusive trading system. I'm passionate about these goals. I'm keen to support you to carry out the necessary reforms. I look forward to working closely with all of you in the coming months and years to help build the WTO that we all want. A WTO that is about people. A WTO that is dynamic, robust, and that provides essential support to economic growth and sustainable development through trade.
The first executive governor of Lagos State, Lateef Jakande, may be gone, but his legacy still remains in the hearts of many. Plus TV Africa's Osaogie Ogbonwa visits his Ilupeju home in Lagos, where family members and visitors are still recounting his impact on them while he was alive.
Eulogies have continued to pour in days after the passing and laying to rest of former governor of Lagos State, Lateef Kayode Jakande, as dignitaries trooped in endlessly to his Ilupeju residence to mourn with the family and also sign the condolence register. People from all walks of life described him as a father figure to all and a huge loss to society.
First of all, thank God for the life Baba Jakande lived. I know Baba to be a very wonderful person, somebody that loved everybody around him.
Baba is a father to all Lagosians and Nigerians in general. He's going to be missed a lot, not now, but years to come. Individually, we will miss Baba, because Baba has touched lives.
Baba is a good man, our father, and he's all Nigeria's father, because you know Baba has been there.
This wasn't expected. We didn't see it coming, even at 91. We didn't expect that this is going to happen now.
Everyone who stopped by made sure to write a few words for a man they described as one of the best governors Lagos has ever had.
His legacies are just too numerous. Is it the hospital we are going to talk about? Is it the last one that was established by him? Is it all the general hospital? In fact, I don't know, it's uncountable. That was a governor. Baba has touched life not only in Lagos, generally, all over. But if we reduce it to Lagos, where he ruled for only 4 years. Somebody has ruled for 8 years and above, but Baba ruled for only 4 years and he has been missed.
His name, they say, will forever live on, as his legacy will continue to live in the hearts of all. Osaogie Ogbonwa, Plus TV Africa.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has confirmed 574 fresh cases of COVID-19 in 20 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The new figure brings the total number of recorded infections in the country to 146,928. The health agency made the announcement on Monday night while giving the daily reports on its official website. NCDC also announced that about 1,478 patients were discharged in Oyo, Lagos, and Kwara State, as total recovery jumped to 123,009. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency says that it plans to vaccinate approximately 109 million Nigerians who are eligible for the COVID-19 vaccination in the next 2 years. The Executive Director, Dr. Faisal Shuaibu, announced this at the Presidential Task Force briefing on COVID-19. He explained that the agency remains in anticipation of about 57 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines from the COVAX facility and the AU. He further noted that working with the states, the federal government plans to vaccinate all eligible populations from 18 years and above, including pregnant women. The National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is presently studying the Russian Sputnik V and India's COVAX vaccines against COVID-19. Speaking on Plus TV Africa's The Breakfast Program, NAFDAC Director General Professor Mojisola Adiaye assured that the agency would have a result on the evaluation by next week.
Recently, WHO contacted NAFDAC, actually last week, that we can now have access to the doses of the vaccines that they're going to be distributing worldwide. Nigeria will be receiving the first batch by the end of February or March, early, middle March. So we don't know when it will get in first, the exact date, but the exact date will depend on when we do the approval also, when we give the approval. But in terms of the man on the street, primary health has stated that the healthcare workers will be given first, and then people with underlying conditions or older people will be given second. So it's going to be in stages. So the person on the street may wait longer unless that person is a healthcare worker or somebody with underlying conditions. The first approval will take place within the next 1 week.
In other parts of Africa, a UK company, Camellia Group, has agreed to settle legal claims from a number of Kenyan and Malawian women over gross human rights abuses and rape allegations. The firm's guards have been accused of committing atrocities ranging from killings, rape, and other forms of sexual and gender-based violence. The macadamia, tea, and avocado company paid a total of over $9.7 million to 85 women in Kenya and Malawi. Camellia Group has also vowed to address any issue that will culminate later from the misconduct of workers. South Africa's embattled former President Jacob Zuma has yet again failed to appear before a judicial panel probing corruption during his 9-year tenure. 79-year-old Zuma refused to comply with the order from the Constitutional Court, which ruled last month that he has to appear before the panel this week.
South Africa's former President Jacob Zuma failed to appear at a corruption inquiry on Monday, despite the country's top court ordering him to appear.
Addressed a letter to the Commission.
Lawyers for Zuma confirmed in a letter that he would not be appearing, calling the summons issued for him irregular.
Will not be appearing before the Commission.
The inquiry led by Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo is probing allegations of high-level corruption during Zuma's 9 years in power. He was removed as president in 2018 over the accusations, which include that businessmen close to him used their position to plunder state resources and influence policy.
I've never did anything with them, unlawfully or whatever.
Zuma denies wrongdoing and has not cooperated with the inquiry. He walked out of proceedings in November without permission, prompting the inquiry to go to the Constitutional Court. Last month, it ordered Zuma to attend. One of Zuma's lawyers did not respond to a request for comment. A lawyer for the inquiry said on Monday that Zuma had been implicated to date by the evidence of at least 40 witnesses.
And outside Africa, Australia's Prime Minister Scott Morrison has apologized to a woman who alleged she was raped in the country's parliament by an unnamed colleague and promised a thorough investigation into the government's workplace culture. The woman, Brittany Higgins, said she had been raped in the office of Defense Minister Linda Reynolds in March 2019 by someone who also worked for Morrison's ruling Liberal Party. She told local media she spoke with the police in early April of that year, but she decided against making a formal complaint because of concerns about her career prospects.
And we have to do more, whether it's in this workplace or any other workplace in the country, to ensure that people can work safely in their place and be at their best and do what they went into that job to do. Brittany talked about being her dream job. We are all privileged, whether it's members of Parliament, the people who work in our offices, indeed those who work in the gallery and do what we get to do in this place. It is a privilege, and we should be able to go about that important work safely. There should not be an environment where a young woman can find herself in such a vulnerable situation. That is not okay. Achieving it. Thank you very much.
A long line of people in Yangon was seen queuing to withdraw cash from Miwadi, a military-owned bank, after a cap was imposed on the amount of money allowed for withdrawal. A resident, Ji Min, questioned the new limitation on cash withdrawal. Only a few banks remained open after the military coup on February 1st, declaration of a state of emergency, and the detention of ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi. The coup has sparked protests across the country, while the United Nations Special Envoy has warned Myanmar's army of severe consequences for any harsh response to protesters who are demonstrating against this month's coup in a call with the military leadership. In business, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, on Tuesday revealed that Consumer Price Index, which measures inflation, has increased by 16.47% in January 2021. This is the highest since April 2017. The report also shows that food inflation also rose to 20.57% in January, while core inflation, which excludes the price of volatile agricultural produce, stood at 11.85%. The NBS added that the upward movement in food inflation was caused by increases in the prices of bread, cereals, potatoes, yam and other tubers, meats, fruits, oils and fats, vegetables and fish. On a year-on-year basis, food inflation was highest in Kogi State at 26.64%, Oyo State 23.69%, and Rivers State 23.49%, while Ondo, Abuja and Bauchi states recorded the slowest rise. In entertainment, the Masked Singer finale was watched by an average audience of 8.6 million viewers, overnight figures show. That's the biggest live TV audience for any program so far this year, outside of news and sports. The series ended on Saturday with a pregnant Joss Stone, who has been cunningly disguised as a sausage, revealed as this year's winner. The final attracted 2.2 million more viewers than last year's, which saw Nicola Roberts from Girls Aloud triumph. In sports, the brute force of Naomi Osaka has crushed the artistry of Hei Su-wei as the Japanese former champion charged into the Australian Open semi-finals with a 6-2, 6-2 win. On a warm and nudgy day at Rod Laver Arena, Osaka attacked Hsi's weak serve with gusto, and the Taiwanese giant killer quickly wilted under the pressure of her Grand Slam quarter-final debut. Osaka had a torrid time in her last Australian Open clash with Sei in 2019, having to come back from a set and break away and break down on the way to claiming the championship. Osaka's reward would be a semi-final against Serena Williams.
I mean, I know my next opponent is Serena or Halep, and I always watch Serena's matches anyways. But yeah, normally I never look at my draw, but everyone's told me about my draw here, so I kind of had no choice but to know who my next opponent is. But definitely going to be really fun.
Okay, good.
Meanwhile, Serena Williams produced a stunning performance to beat second seed Simona Halep and set up an Australian Open semi-final with Naomi Osaka. The 39-year-old American, bidding for a record-equaling 24th Grand Slam title, won 6-3, 6-3 against the Romanian. That's the news at this hour. For more stories, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories. I am Annetta Felix. Thanks for watching.
even if INEC opens their portal today for continuous registration, we would rather complain than go to register.
If we go and know, are we going to change Africa? Because what did they do to make our lives better since
stories will
then?
inspire you.
Inspire us to be like who? Like our Lord.
Inspire you to know that once upon a time, some people also struggled.
They don't even consider it that it's important to make the place conducive for people living with disabilities.
More accessible.
Because Nigeria has actually gone too far the other way to come back to look after the disabled.
Somebody rigs the election and then he's, fraudulently sworn in. He goes for Thanksgiving. The rest of us will join, Your Excellency.
Yeah.
But the day he's removed, we say he was corrupt.
Don't forget the political angle.
You mean brown envelope will stop?
No, brown envelope will, I don't want to say will not stop, but I've done hand like this, Sha. But quickly.
Politics as heads and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say. The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed